Okay, so today what we're going to cover is we're going to talk about nouns specifically and their genders and definite articles for those, which are the genders in this case for subject. And then I'm going to talk to you about the plural forms, so definite articles and nouns in plural and how to read those in your book. And then we're going to talk about the indefinite articles ein and kein and how they relate to gender. Okay, so nouns. First of all, we have a number of nouns already. I'm just going to give you some from this first chapter. Montag, Wochenende, Frau. Okay, so in German, whenever you have a noun, one of the things to keep in mind is that every single one of those is going to be capitalized. So they are all going to be capitalized. I'm going to add some more really quick. We're going to have Mann. I'm going to put Kind. And then I'm going to put Hund. This one is not in your chapter, but it means dog, just so you know. So for all of these, in German what we have is we have genders. Genders specifically are demarked by the definite article. Now, a definite article in English is the. So that's your definite article. So I could say the pen I'm writing with is black. Okay, the pen I'm writing with is black. So I'm talking about this pen in particular. But I can also say a pen I'm writing with is black if I, for example, were to switch to another pen and then there's more than one. So that's not definite. There's not just one. So the versus a. So your definite article is the. In German, we have three of those. Specifically, we have der, we have die, and we have das. So those three specific ones are our the. And all of these denote a grammatical gender. Specifically, we have die for feminine, der for masculine, and das for neuter. So far so good. That's not that hard yet. If I have a word like Frau, which means woman, or Miss, Mrs. really, and Mann, which means man, Mr., sometimes human, not always, it depends on the context. If I have these two, it's pretty easy to pick the right gender. So Frau is going to be die, and Mann is going to be der. So that's pretty straightforward. However, all things in German have gender, and it does not always align with what you think. So in English, when I have a pen, for example, I would say that's an it. So that's neuter. That's not gendered in any way. In German, however, this does have a gender, and it's der. So it's masculine. So it's der Stift, der Kuli. There's no rhyme or reason to why it is der, so I can't give you a backstory on why they decided to make pens masculine. It just happens to be masculine. Same would be for table, it's masculine. But bottle, for example, Flasche, is feminine. So when I have something like Montag, Monday, Monday is going to be der. And actually all the days of the week are masculine. So it's the Monday, der Montag, masculine. Wochenende is actually das. And this one means weekend. So das Wochenende. Kind means child. And that one is also das. Das Kind. Hund, dog, happens to be masculine in German, so it's der Hund. So each and every single one of these just has a designated gender. If you look at our textbook, you will always be given this gender next to the noun. It will not have the next to it, so it's not going to say the Monday, the weekend, the woman. The reason they're doing this for you is because you need to know what that gender is. It's going to become more and more important as we go through and learn more grammar in German. So please make sure you learn that. A very important thing to keep in mind when you're using pronouns, and we already learned those, but just to do a mini review, when you're using pronouns to replace things, they align with whatever the gender is. So if something is der or masculine, you would say he. So this one is er. Realize Monday is not a person, it's not a man, but you would say er to that. Wochenende would become es. Frau is easy, that one is sie. Mann is also easy, it's er. Kind is es. So even though you might know what the gender of the child is, if you're replacing the word child, you're going to go with that one. And Hund is also er. Okay, so that is your definite articles, which show you the gender of the noun. So, okay, I'm going to slide this up. You also need to know how to form all of your plurals. Now, in that very first chapter, the erste Kontakte in your book, they just put the regular word like die Frau, and then they had a comma and said die Frauen. And they showed you the plural that way. However, for the second chapter, for the chapter 1, but the second chapter in the book, you're learning a little abbreviation form that they're showing you. So, die Frau becomes die Frauen. They would write that, die Frau, comma, and then they're going to put dash en. So this dash en shows you that you're adding an en in order to make that plural. If you look at your little spiral, the purple spiral, there's a section in the very front of chapter 1 where it has all of the little abbreviations. I'm going to show you really quick. So here they are. This is all of the plural forms. So for example, we have just a dash. We have der Finger, comma, dash. That means that whenever you make the plural, you're not adding or taking anything. So you're not going to add umlauts, you're not adding an ending, it just stays the same word. But do you notice a difference between these two forms? This is the singular, and this is the plural. Hopefully you caught it. It's what it says right here on the bottom. As soon as you make something plural, no matter what the gender is in singular, it becomes die. That is your plural form. So it's always going to have die as the definite article once it becomes plural. Okay, another symbol you will see is this little umlaut symbol, the little dots, and a dash. That means you're going to add an umlaut. When you're adding an umlaut, it is typically going to be over the very, very first vowel that can take an umlaut. Of course, A, O, and U are the only vowels in German that take umlauts. Okay, none of the other ones can take them. I'm going to write down one word for you to show you one example where it's a little odd. So we've got Knackwurst, comma, and it's going to be like this. This is what this will look like. So in this case, you have Knackwurst, which is a type of sausage, and it's a compound noun. So what you're going to do for this one, it's going to go over the second noun in that list. So the plural would be Knackwürste. So it's over the first vowel in the second word. The same would be true if, for example, you would say tennis ball, tennis ball, and it's the same symbol. It's not more than one tennis racket, but you do have more than one tennis ball, so we're going to say tennis Bälle. And that's the same no matter what type. If it's a soccer ball, basketball, even if they have a vowel up here that can't take an umlaut, it's going to be the plural in the back. So if you look at these, it goes through every single form of plural, and it gives you an example of each so that you see how it is applied. Make sure that you can read this chart. It is pretty self-explanatory, but please do make sure that you know what you're looking for. Okay. missing my page number. In the workbook, you're going to do an activity of this, and that is workbook page 20, and you're doing exercise A1-4. That is just you practicing making plurals with that abbreviation. Okay, once you finish, there's another little section of this video. If you'd rather watch the whole video first and then go to this activity, that is fine too. So the last thing you need to know are your indefinite, my bad, your indefinite articles. So we already talked about definite articles. That was your the. That was der, die, das in German. Your indefinite one in English is a or n. And that in German becomes eine. And I'm going to add another one, and that's kein. I'm going to put no or none at the bottom, and I'll explain that in a sec. So those are your options for indefinite articles. Now, I think you probably remember this from last year. If you have a noun that is grammatically masculine or neuter, we're going to use ein. It's just going to be ein. If we have something that is feminine, we're going to use eine. So this means a, and this means a. This is not n. It's just der Mann, ein Mann. So the man, a man. Das Haus, ein Haus. The house, a house. Die Frau, eine Frau. The woman, a woman. And then we've got the plural. Now for plural, of course, it doesn't make sense to say a, so rather than having that denoted that way, we always include the kein there. It is also a indefinite article, but it just means none or no. So that is die plural, and the only one you can use in this case is keine. Oops, can't see what I'm writing. So you've got the extra e on that one as well. So just remember, you have no extra e for der and das, and anytime it's a die form, you need that extra e. Okay, for that, I'm also going to make you do one activity in the book, or in the workbook. If I find it. Oh, I'm skipping it, okay. So it's workbook, page 22. And it is the whole page, but just in case, it's exercise A1-6. And in this activity, I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. You are doing a number of things. First, you have a prompt, like this one is Löwenbräu. And then you have to go in the list over here, which has a bunch of your vocab words, and pick what it is. Now, Löwenbräu, for example, is beer, so I'm going to cross that out. They put beer right there. Now, beer was neuter. That's why you have that das. You're then going to use kein. You're going to go through and do kein for every single one of them. Or you're going to do keine. So because it's das, you're going to have kein. If it's die Jahreszeit, when you get to that one, it's going to be keine. You're going to read the sentence. Each one of these is using so wie, as. So no beer is as good as Löwenbräu. Hopefully you don't know any of that stuff, but okay. You then have to choose, is it an opinion or is it a fact? Okay, so Fakten oder Meinungen, fact or opinion. So you're just going to go through, finish all the statements. There are a couple of things you might not know what they are. This one is a singer. Stradivari is a violin, a very, very expensive violin, actually. And I think that is the only ones. U2 is a band. On the very bottom, U2. Beethoven's Ninth is part of his symphony, or is his symphony, his Ninth Symphony. I think that's about it. Okay, so go through, complete those activities, and please make sure that you show me when you are done. Thank you.